our program today is not a stranger to a lot of us. It's actually Ken Balsley. I'm going to tell you a little bit about him. For those of you who haven't known him for as many years as a lot of us have, he's a local boy, grew up loving the history of our county. He was instrumental in creating the Lacey History Museum and the first president of the Lacey Historical Commission and the founder of the first secretary of the Lacey Historical Society. He's currently a member of the Thurston County Historical Commission. He was founder and first president of the 1989 Washington State Centennial Organizing Committee, which celebrated 100 years of Washington history. He's the official historian for the Lacey South Sound Chamber of Commerce and the unofficial historian for Lacey Rotary. He's a member of the City of Lacey's 50th birthday celebration and has spoken to more than a dozen groups about the city's history. In his spare time, he gives historical tours of Thurston County, which many of us have taken, and gives that tour to community leaders and anybody who's interested, actually. Okay, the reason I asked him to do a program today was he's going to talk to us about the most significant events in the history of Thurston County in our modern age. So let's welcome Ken Balsley.
I appreciate the applause. I'm trying to figure out how to start this. So, to make it sound like it's really exciting. Talking about history has got to be one of the most boring subjects if you don't like history. You know? And so trying to make it exciting for people. How many people like history? Wow, all right. Fantastic. I can see myself, all historians must like to be in Rotary Club. Because traditionally about 75% of people that you interview don't like history at all. So good. Well, a few years back I did a survey of many historians around the county, people you know like Shanna Stevenson and Drew Quick and different people, about what they thought was most significant events in Thurston County's history since 1950. And I picked 1950 because that was in my time frame of my knowledge, my ability to understand and realize things. And I compiled this list of all these historians. So this is not my list, although I did make the final determination of what was going to be on the list. So I'm going to have a little quiz here. I want people to tell me what they think the most significant thing is since 1950 in Thurston County. Now let's join up here. All right, Paul.
Lacey recognized as a city.
Lacey is a city. That's a good start. Tom?
Evergreen State College.
Evergreen State College. Anybody else got a suggestion? Cheryl?
Growth Management Act.
The growth. All right, the Growth Management Act impacted Thurston County. Okay, sure.
South Sound Mall.
South Sound Mall. All right.
The brewery closure.
The brewery closure. Sure. Those are all good suggestions, and some of them are on my list. The most significant event in my mind and in the historian's mind is the retention of the state capital of Olympia. Back in the 30s and the 40s, most of the state agencies had moved out of Olympia. They moved to Seattle, Tacoma, Spokane, all around the state. By 1950, there was almost nothing left of state government here. There was the governor's office and the legislature, but the legislature only met for 60 days, once every 2 years. And there was almost nothing, no financial or economic impact on Thurston County and Olympia because the state capital had moved. The Olympia Chamber of Commerce was trying to figure out what they could do to force those state agencies back here. They couldn't come up with an idea, but two men by the name of George and Fritz Mottman, you know, the Mottman property where the county courthouse is today, brought suit against the state, alleging that the state capital had to be in Olympia and that state agencies were part of that state capital. A young attorney by the name of Smith Troy took that case of. Now Troy was really a young man at the time. He later became the state attorney general and our Thurston County prosecuting attorney. And he won in court. State Supreme Court said that the state agencies were part of the state government. The state government had to be in Olympia. So they began to move back. And by the early 60s, most of the state agencies were back here in Olympia. And it stayed that way until 1980, when the Attorney General, by the name of Christine Gregoire, gave a Attorney General's opinion that it meant in the vicinity of Olympia. That allowed the Department of Ecology to move out to Lacey, and it allowed the Department of Labor and Industry to move out to Tumwater. If I was a downtown Olympia businessman, I'd zoom again, get those state agency headquarters back into Olympia. But that was the most significant event, because then it became fact that Olympia became a government town. The second most important item on my list of the top events is the construction of the interstate freeway system. About the 1960s, they were building the freeway up from Portland, Interstate 5, and the original plan called for the freeway to take off at Maytown, go through Yelm, cross the Nisqually River, and up to Tacoma, completely bypassing the city of Olympia. And the powers that be, the legislature, said, well, we really want the freeway to come through the capital city. And they threatened kind of to withhold the state matching funds. Well, the Federal Highway Department said, okay, we'll put a branch on the freeway through Olympia. We're still going to run the major freeway through Yelm. And it stayed that way until the 1980s, when the state finally decided, okay, we're not going to build the freeway through Yelm, and they widened and improved I-5 from 2 lanes to 3 lanes, or from 4 lanes to 6 lanes through here. And they sold off all the right-of-way in Yelm. But what was significant about that was it destroyed Tumwater. The interstate freeway system went right through the heart of Tumwater, destroyed about 24 businesses in Tumwater. Tumwater still really hasn't recovered from that. They're working hard on it, but Tumwater is separated by a big river called the interstate freeway. The second thing is it created Lacey. You know, Bob Blume, Larry's dad, took a look at it, the freeway system, and said, you know, wherever there's going to be an off-ramp, there's going to be a new port city, and there's an off-ramp at Slater Kenny, so he built South Sound Center. What that did was it completely devastated downtown Olympia. All the businesses in downtown Olympia were just left, or they had to close their doors because everybody started shopping out of Lacey at South Sound Center. So the freeway had 3 significant events. It destroyed Tumwater, it destroyed Olympia's economic system, and it built Lacey. So that was the second most important event, as far as I can tell, in the history of Thurston County. The third one was already mentioned, the Evergreen State College. Evergreen State College was authorized by the legislature in 1967. It opened to the first class in 1971. And it took a while for Evergreen to catch on. You know, it was kind of a hippie college. I mean, I know I was out there in the first class, 1971. It was a lot of fun. Nobody knew. There were no rules, no classes, no mandatory classes, no grades. It was a lot of fun. But like 40,000 other people, we all got graduates from Evergreen. Evergreen has 40,000 graduates now over the time since it's been there. That's a lot of students. About half of those are still in Thurston County. How many people here are Evergreen grads? Get your master's. Judy, did you get yours out of Evergreen? Cynthia, just you and I?
The rest of them are
Oh, okay, we got the elite here. So there are about 20,000 Evergreen grads that still live in Thurston County. And they've had a significant impact on the way things work here in Thurston County. A lot of them are government employees, but a significant number of them are entrepreneurs that started their own businesses. If you live in downtown Olympia and you start going door to door down there, those various shops and stuff, a significant number of those people are either greeners or have come out here because of Evergreen. And it also created the arts community in Thurston County. You know, Harlequin Productions is from people who came out here because of Evergreen. The Washington Center for the Performing Arts was started by Evergreen professors. The concept, the idea that we needed a performing arts center in Olympia. So Evergreen has had a significant impact socially and artistically and just environmentally on Thurston County. It's a major player in Thurston County. Somebody else mentioned the Growth Management Act. Who is that? Cheryl. This actually ties into the Growth Management Act, and it's the creation of the Thurston Regional Planning Council. Now, prior to the 1973-74, the cities of Olympia, Lacey, and Tumwater all acted independently. They all had their own planning departments. They did all kinds of stuff independently and alone. But they began to realize that you can't do planning on the city boundaries. You have to do planning on a regional basis. So they got together and they created an interlocal governmental agreement and created the Thurston Regional Planning Council. And that was the first regional body in Thurston County that showed that the 3 cities in the county could cooperate and work together. Since that time, there are now 20 regional boards and commissions here in Thurston County. The cities and the port, and sometimes with the school districts and so on. Lot is a good example. That's a regional board. Intercity Transit is a regional board. Medic One is a regional board. 911 Communications, Animal Control that Rick supervised. Those are all regional boards and commissions. We have a regional government here in Thurston County. We just don't know it because it's kind of under the shelf. So you may think that we're all separate cities, but we all work together on regional issues, and that's a significant thing to Thurston County. Another thing that I think is significant to Thurston County was the 1984 Women's Olympic Marathon Trials. That was the first time, if you think back in your mind, that women were allowed to run in a marathon. The Olympics had never allowed women. This was going to be the first time. And Olympia went and bid on hosting the U.S. Olympic Women's Marathon Trials. They beat out Buffalo and New York and Los Angeles and Kansas City, several major cities, to get that. And the community worked together. Thousands and thousands of volunteers put that thing on. It was a great, big benefit to the city and to the region. Those marathon trials that put Olympia on the map. It showed that this area was a dynamic, growing place where people could work together and get things done. And in fact, it gave us a big head. We began to think that we're really important. So we thought, well, we're going to have the Olympic Hall of Fame here in Olympia. It made sense to me. You got to have an Olympic Hall of Fame in Olympia. Well, it didn't make any sense to Colorado Springs. It was a training facility for the Olympics are, and they beat us out. But the glow of that still echoes today, doesn't it, Judy? Yeah. You may not know it, but Judy was one of the founders of the Capital City Marathon. And we built off the Capital City Marathon for the Olympic Women's Trial. Well, anyway, Joan Benoit won that, and she went on to win the gold medal in Los Angeles. I remember where the 84 trials were. Another thing that had a significant impact on Thurston County is the decline of the Olympian. At one time they had something like 47,000 paid subscribers in Thurston County. That's when the county was even a lot smaller than it is today. They had a significant impact. If it was in the paper, it was important. If they made the endorsements on political campaigns or actions, it was significant. Well, now they're down to less than 11,000 paid subscribers. Has nothing to do with the Olympian itself. It's just the fact of life. All around the country, newspapers are in danger and they're folding. Even the Rocky Mountain News in Denver, Colorado, one of the most prestigious newspapers in the West, folded here a couple of years ago. Nothing has risen to take its place. We are sitting here as this group, totally ignorant of what's happening around us on a local level. We get national news, but we don't get local news. And so the decline of the decline of the Olympian is a significant impact on Thurston County. And it's a negative impact, but it's an impact. As much as I dislike that paper, at least you got to know what was going on. And I miss it terribly. I still subscribe to it, but so that was an impact. The closure of the brewery, that was on my mind. The closure of the Olympia Brewery in Tumwater was a significant impact on this Thurston County. 250 some employees were put out of work, but more significantly, Tumwater's image was destroyed when the brewery closed. And we're still trying to figure out what to do with that facility today. Anytime you close a manufacturing plant in the community, it had a significant impact on the greater community. And we got a couple others. We also have the earthquakes, of 49, 65, and 2001, and they tell us the big one's still coming. So, poor Olympia, they're on bill, all bill and fill. It's not going to be good when it comes. So those are significant influences. And there's several more. Anybody have any idea of others that should be on the list now that I've given you some ideas? Yeah.
The vote decision.
The vote decision. Well, I have that down here with the creation of the Nisqually Wildlife Refuge as a significant impact. But you're right. The vote decisions had a significant impact on fishing, but that's more than just countywide. But it did, yeah, you're right, because it was brought about because of the Nisqually tribe and Billy Frank Jr., and that's why they named the Wildlife Refuge after Billy Frank Jr. Any other ideas?
On the same lines, casino gambling, I mean, the Indians are a huge economic engine in Thurston County.
They are. We have 2 Indian casinos in Thurston County. Yeah, and what you've noticed if you're a young person is that the dances and the bands and stuff, they're all out at Indian casinos now. I mean, that's where you get your entertainment. If we want to go out at our age for dances, you don't go to the raves in downtown Olympia at the old Olympia knitting mill. You go out to one of the Indian casinos. But you're right. Tom, you got another one?
I was going to say the expansion of JBLM. A lot of communities that had defense installations leave, that would be a real devastation, but ours actually...
Yeah, and that was the final major one that I was going to talk about. The 9/11 had a significant impact on Thurston County because of the growth of the war on terror and the growth of JBLM. Living here in Thurston County all my life, I never saw anybody in military uniform until the Vietnam War, until 68, 69. But they were always here. We never saw them. But now they say that 40% of the people in Lacey have some connection to the military. That's a significant number of people that have a connection to the military. But the story goes that back in 1944, the Army Air Force was operating out of the Olympia Airport, flying out over the Pacific Ocean looking for Japanese submarines. And one night there was a little tavern near by the airport called the Airport Inn. The local boys in the military got in a big fight. And the commander of Fort Lewis put Thurston County off limits to the military. That's why if you grew up here, even though you're only 6 miles from Fort Lewis, you never saw the military. It was off limits. But what happened was the retired officers started moving here because it was a good place to live. They didn't have the military concept around the community, and they're still very close to the hospital and the PX and stuff at Fort Lewis. Then the senior NCO started retiring here, and this became a good place for military to retire. It wasn't a military town, but it was close enough to the military bases that they could have everything they needed. And then when the war on terror came, and they said, well, before that, when they did the base closing, they closed Fort Ord and some other military bases around the country. They moved them up here to join Base Lewis McCord. Significant impact. That was going to be my ending here, Tom. But thanks for bringing that up. So that's what I see as the most significant events in Thurston County's history since 1950. If you have any others, please let me know. Now I want to say one more thing. I'm currently working on a story about the most respected individuals in Thurston County. And I've had dozens and dozens of people make comments to me about them. One of them in this room is Dave Spangler. Dave has had several people tell me how much he's respected in this community. So if you have other names of people that you think should be on my list of most respected, please let me know. And thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Being out of the reach.
Other questions?
Oh, I just had to take it.
No, you asked for suggestions. No? Well, Ken, I think, yeah, Don?
I don't know if I missed it or not, but wasn't there some talk of a striker brigade moving out of, it would affect 13,000 people out of JBLM?
There's been talk about that. I don't know where that is.
Okay.
I have no idea. Did I sign the book?
Yeah, if you would. So the title of this is The Little Island. Somehow I just thought of Ken when I read that.
No significant.